It's time to go live. Good morning. Good morning. It is 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on May the 9th, 2025. It's a Friday. It's been a week. Not a bad week, but it's been a week. How's your week going? My name is Keith. I've been a professional developer for over 30 years. Currently, I manage a coding school to help people upskill, stay current with their skills in an ever-changing world of technology. But I created a stream for people who are in the job market. They're looking for a job or struggling to find a job in this crazy world that we've morphed into post-election. And that's interesting. And it's really just a place to hang out while you're getting those job applications out. So if you know anybody who's in the job market, who's looking, struggling maybe to find a job, and needs that consistency, needs to have a pal to hang out with while they're getting out those job applications, an appointment to put on their calendar every day. I'm going to get up at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time and hang out with me while they get their job apps out. That's kind of what I'm here for. So, how are we doing on this Friday day? There are two things that we do on the stream. We look at job numbers of the most recent job postings in the web space primarily. And we look at the news that may or may not affect the tech world or the larger business world. So we're going to get into that today. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump in, throw them in the chat, and I'm happy to take a detour. I had a nice little detour yesterday towards the end of the stream with a great question, and I'm happy to jump in at any time. You will not be interrupted. This is what we're here for. We can make this conversation all the better. All right, let's jump into those job numbers. And if you're on LinkedIn, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I also stream on YouTube and Twitch, although I don't get a whole lot of audience from YouTube and Twitch. So I don't know if I'll continue. It doesn't hurt me. Just push a button and I'm streaming in those three platforms. So it's just an experiment. I've been doing this since the first of the year. 5 months. 4 months. Okay, let's look at these numbers. So what we're looking at here is web developer numbers in the last 7 days, job postings, the last 6 months, and the last year. Where do I get my data? I get it from Indeed.com. Why Indeed.com? That is certainly not all the jobs being posted. No, but it's 15 to 20%. An independent third party determined that they had about 15 to 20% of all job postings on Indeed.com. And if that's the case, that is a statistically significant number. It's good enough for us to get trend lines off of. And I've been tracking these numbers for almost 3 years now. As a result, I've got 3 graphs here. The first one is for the last 7 days, and you can see that it's we were heading upwards, and we've sort of peaked a little bit as we go into the weekend. If we look at the last 6 months, we'll see that there is a trend line down that's really kind of mirroring what's been going on since the first of the year, right? Everything was pretty flat for about 3 months, and then the tariffs got introduced, and things have been slipping and sliding, and that's not great news for us. But if we look at the last year, we can see we can sort of erase some of those seasonal issues. Like if you look 6 months ago, we actually got just about the same number of job postings now as 6 months ago. But 6 months ago was heading into the holiday season. So tends at the end of summer, everybody's wrapping up their summer stuff. They're getting their kids into school. Hiring is slowing down. But if we look back a year, where were we this time last year? We can see that we're down probably 40% off of the numbers last year, which were down from the year before. So that is not great news. Not what we want to see. Not what we want to see. Let's look at a bigger breakdown. This is all of the job postings for JavaScript developers. Since the first of the year, I started tracking this in a more granular way since the first of the year. And we can see that in-person jobs have been, again, flat, took a dip recently. They're starting to climb their way back out of it. If we look at remote work, you can see that the volatility is not as pronounced, but they basically kind of mirror each other. If we look at mid-level, senior level, and entry-level roles, the entry level are in blue, the mid level are in red, and the senior level are in yellow. Senior level and entry level have been mostly flat, not a whole lot of volatility in there. Mid level range have a little bit more ups and downs, a little more roller coaster. And there's one more graph that we have here, and this is just remote jobs broken down by experience level. And we can see similar things. The number of remote roles for senior and junior roles have been really flat the whole year. There's been a slight downtrend in the remote roles for mid-level, and we've talked about this before. That makes sense in a lot of different ways. But those are the numbers as they sit. Not great numbers. I wish I had better to report. These are the things that we cannot control. What we can control is getting up every day, getting a little caffeinated beverage in you, being consistent about that, checking the boards twice a day, filtering for the most recent job postings, getting to the top of the stack of those job postings. Applying for a job that was posted a week ago, even 3 days ago, is almost a waste of time, almost a complete waste of time. There are a lot of people who are out of work, even more since all these layoffs. And, there are more people competing for the same jobs. They're going to get a lot more applications and resumes than they need. And they're not going to get through that stack. There's going to be a big old stack of resumes. And they're going to start looking through that stack saying, no, maybe, no, maybe, no, maybe. And chances are they'll get to enough maybes before they see your application, right? That's no good. No bueno. That is, not even swinging. So we want to make sure that we're consistent, that we're, controlling the things we can control. What can we control? How many applications we get out every day? How many avenues we try? Are we using LinkedIn? Are we using other job boards? Are we getting out of the house and going to meetups? These are all things that we can control, right? Are we reaching out to individual companies' websites and checking to see what postings are on there that maybe they're not posting on all the job boards? Lots of ways to tackle this, and you should be trying every one of them, whatever it takes, right? You developed a serious amount of skills to make yourself valuable to employers. You spend a lot of time, hundreds of hours, thousands of hours. Maybe you got your 10,000 hours in, like me, doing that skill. And then you're in the job market. How many hours are you going to put towards finding a job? 4 or 5 hours a week? That's not good. You want extraordinary results, you got to put out an extraordinary effort, right? That's what we do. Those things we can't control in a crazy, mixed up world are what we need to focus on right now. Okay. All right. Let's look at the news. What's in the news? I'm on LinkedIn. Feel free to connect with me. There's a QR code on the screen. But part of the reason why I'm on there every day is because I've got this little news feed that has oftentimes good news stories. There are 4 that I picked out today. I'll probably look at a couple more on Google News, but let's start here. Some workers okay with pay cuts. Okay. You okay with a pay cut? Most American workers aren't interested in taking a pay cut in their careers for any reason, even if it would mean lighter workload or a better relationship with their boss, according to LinkedIn's uh, latest workforce confidence survey. But younger workers are more open to a salary cut than their older colleagues, particularly if the change comes with more flexibility or opportunities for upward mobility. Nearly half of Gen Z workers said upward mobility was worth the pay cut. What do I think about that? That's interesting. Um, like there's all this return to office stuff. My wife got a return to office order this year, and so now, she spent the day since the beginning of the pandemic working from her home office and being very productive and getting promotion, getting raises, doing well in her job, getting good reviews. And then her boss, who happens to be the governor of this state of Texas, said everybody goes back to the office. Okay, that's fine. But now she's factoring maybe 2 hours a day dealing with traffic and getting ready for work and organizing her day in a way that allows her to do the same amount of work, but she's got an extra 2 hours that's lost. Um, and whether she's more productive or less productive is still an open question. My guess is she won't be less productive, but an extra hour, hour and a half, 2 hours in a commute. That's just a tough one. It's not going to work for every job, absolutely. But if people have proven over the last 3 or 4 years that they can do good work, they can be consistent, they can hit their deadlines, man, that's just a tough one. So I get that aspect of it. Maybe taking a less pay. But the nearly half of Gen Z workers said upward mobility was worth the pay cut. I don't know what that means. Does that mean they want to work on a side hustle? Does that mean I don't know what that means. That's just a weird thing to say. And of course, when we're in our 20s, we're trying to figure out our place in the world, what our career is going to be, what is special about us, what do we have to offer to the world. We do lots of experiments. I went through 3 careers in about 7 years when I was in my 20s, and then settled into being a programmer. In that time, I wasn't expecting to make very much money, but I also didn't need a whole lot of money. Right? I didn't have 2 kids and 4 cars and a home and all that stuff, which I have now. So older workers, yeah, they don't want to take a pay cut because they got more responsibilities. They got retirement looming. I'm about 5 years away from retirement, not at a point where I could quit my job right now, but I'll probably be okay financially in about 5 years. But I need to keep making money for the next 5 years and sucking away some cash. So that makes sense. Interesting, though. Interesting. Google deploys AI shield on scams. I've been getting more Gmail scams coming through lately. Gmail's been really great. It's the reason why I sort of gave up. I have my own domains. I've got emails on those domains, which I almost never use. Most of them I forward to my Gmail account, just because the sheer volume of email that goes through the Gmail system and the smart people that they hire at Google, they're able to figure out kind of what's spam and what's not. And they have a great spam filter. But every once in a while, some of these, troublemakers figure out a good hack. They figure out a hack, and all of a sudden we got stuff leaking through the spam filter, and they're showing up. I've been getting more of those lately. I don't know what they're doing to trick the system, but they've been coming through. They're the obvious ones. Uh, you know, so that's interesting. Google is releasing a new AI-powered defenses that help detect and block online scams on Chrome. The tech giant, will add its generative AI large language model, Gemini Nano, to its desktop browser as an added layer of protection to fight fraudulent activity. Also adding new AI-generated warnings for Chrome on Android that flag scammy calls and texts. Google said its scam detection investments have already caught 20 times the number of scammy pages. Yeah. I mean, as it is, I wouldn't be the first person to say it, but now that AI has been introduced, that AI cat and mouse game of creating scams and finding scams is on. You know, the troublemakers, the bad actors, they're utilizing AI to deploy these scams, and now we got to use AI to catch the scams. It is a crazy world we're growing up in. Crazy world. Because as kooky as some of these things are, there's going to be some people that fall for them. And those are the people they're looking for. I saw a picture of our president as the Pope recently. Somebody on this planet believed that was real. It's just the way the world works. No, there wasn't an official scam, but this is the world we're in right now. Apple develops chips for AR glasses. They are not letting these things go. I'm seeing another round of press this week with AI glasses. Apple is developing new chips to power its next generation of products, including its first foray into smart glasses. Citing anonymous sources, the company's Silicon Design Group, whose prominence has grown in recent years as Apple builds its in-house processors, is also working on chips for more powerful Macs and AI servers that support Apple Intelligence Platform. Apple's smart glasses will likely compete directly with Meta's Ray-Ban spectacles. Interesting. I'm broadcasting live from a Macintosh right now, and it's getting a little long in the tooth. It's an M1 chip, and it's time for me to upgrade, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that yet. Everybody's saying those M4 chips are pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. It's interesting. I don't know about the smart glasses. The thing about the smart glasses is that it's the camera. It's the camera that's the problem. The camera is what makes it the killer app, and the camera is what's going to stop it from people wanting to have it around, right? Like if I'm walking around, I'm on vacation, and I got my sunglasses, my glasses on them. They got a little camera. You can't even see the camera. It's so infinitely small. And I've got a little screen that's printing out. If I look at the text of another language on the billboard in front of me, and it gets replaced with English text, it's translated and replaced. And so I just look at every piece of text in Mexico City or in the Vatican, and I can read everything. I can read everything. That's amazing. That is absolutely, that's a world everybody would want to live in. The world would get closer and smaller, and we would all feel more kinship if we could communicate and get off this Tower of Babel. But that camera's recording 24/7. And who wants that? I'm wearing my glasses. Now I'm going to the bathroom. Now I'm going to hang out with my friends. and everything's being recorded. I'm standing in line, somebody's standing in line with glasses behind me while I'm at the ATM, or I'm, punching in the key at my door, and they can just review the video and look at where my fingers punch, and they can immediately know how to get my, my security information. There's just, I don't, uh, it's one thing to say that, a tool can be a weapon, or, it can build and it can destroy. Uh, but man, nuclear energy and nuclear bombs, right? But most people don't have access to nuclear energy and nuclear bombs. That is in the hands of a few who hopefully, understand the importance of what they're dealing with there and treat it with respect. But to have these tools in the hands of everybody, spend a few $100s, and all of a sudden you've got this ability to unlock the world or cheat and I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Citadel backs a 4-year non-compete. This headline, I don't know anything about it. I just saw the headline and I wanted to get angry. Let's see. While much of the country moves to limit the scope of non-compete agreements, Citadel wants Florida to do the opposite. The hedge fund's lobbyists helped shape the language of a yet-to-be-signed bill that would make a 4-year non-compete clause legal in the state of Florida. Bloomberg reports, citing anonymous sources, advocates say the measure will help the Sunshine State remain attractive to businesses such as Citadel, which moved its headquarters from Chicago to Miami in 2022. Critics say overly broad non-compete agreements hamper worker mobility and suppress wages. This drives me up the wall. Now, I'm in Texas. It's a right-to-work state. We are not, the state is not friendly to non-competes, and that is where I've been a professional almost all of my life. Yeah. That, non-competes are just wrong. They shouldn't exist. I mean, there is a very, very small subsection of companies that maybe non-competes make sense for. There's no world in which a 4-year non-compete makes sense. No, there's just no, that doesn't make any damn sense. I don't know anything about Citadel. They're a hedge fund. I don't know anything about hedge funds per se. But I cannot imagine that there's anything that you're doing in your hedge fund job that, signing a non-disclosure, absolutely. I'll sign those every day, all day, no problem. But, you hired me because of my expertise that I developed at other companies for years and years. And then, when it's time for me to leave this role with you, you're saying I can't work for anybody else. I can't take advantage of all that years of experience that I had before you, that I helped build your business with. I can't utilize that anymore in my career for 4 years. What the heck am I supposed to do? Get an Uber job for 4 years? It's insane. It's just insane. That doesn't make any damn sense. That drives me crazy. Yeah, and occasionally I've worked for companies that, aren't based in the state of Texas, and they'll put down non-competes in front of me, and I refuse to sign them. I've never lost a job over it. All the companies have been like, "Oh, that's not a problem. We'll just, that's fine." But you gotta, you gotta push back. This is ridiculous. These companies put this boilerplate nonsense in front of you, and they expect you to not read it and sign it. Just nonsense. It drives me crazy. Don't like it. Not a fan. What do we got here? David Suter dies. Interesting. I hadn't heard that name in a long time. Got a new pope. We talked about this yesterday, but I am lapsed Catholic. I was raised Catholic, but no longer practice. So it doesn't really affect me, but it's always interesting to see. Let's see what's going on in the technology space. All right. iPhone here. It's all phones and games on this technology thing. Let's look at what's going on in artificial intelligence. CrowdStrike announces 5% job cuts. It says AI is reshaping every industry. CrowdStrike to cut 5% of its workforce. Oh man, this was a crazy story. We didn't talk about it, but AI generated likeness of murder victim forgives his killer in court. That's just crazy. I don't like where that's going. I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I just don't think it's good. I don't think that's a good idea. AI use damages professionals' reputation, studies suggest. Okay. Don't know what that's about. Google rolls out on device AI protections. Last chance to exhibit potential path AI. Everyone is cheating their way through college. IBM replaced hundreds of HR workers with AI, according to its CEO. I mean, the reality is more and more jobs are going to be able to be automated because a lot of the jobs that we've had have just been kind of seat filler jobs, right? There's stuff that needs to get done. And, if you can teach a job to a person in less than a month, chances are it's going to be automated away. We'll see. Meta's new AI glasses could have super sensing mode with facial recognition. See, these are the kind of things. Meta renews work on facial recognition tech as privacy worries fade. Do they? Do they fade? I don't know. Okay, we're down at the end of it. We done did it this week. And here's what I say every Friday. If you're new to the stream, my name is Keith. I've been a professional developer for over 30 years. I am doing this stream for people who are out of work in the job market, looking for a job, want to be consistent about getting up and getting those job applications out every day. This is just a place to come hang out, listen to me talk, and maybe answer a question or two. We didn't get any questions today, but feel free to throw them in the chat. Also connect with me on LinkedIn. And you can send me questions offline if you don't want them answered online. I'm happy to do that as well. But here's what I say every Friday, and that is, how seriously you want a job? Do you really want a job, or do you kind of want a job? Are you fine financially, and you want to just kind of lay around and maybe if somebody offers you a job, you'll consider it. Okay, fine. Is that you? Perfect. That's not most people who are out of work, right? But most people who are out of work still fall into that, I'll look for a job on Monday. I'm going to take the weekend for myself. And that is a mistake. This is the time. This is the time, right? It's harder now than it's been in a long time to get a job. More people are looking for jobs. There are less jobs available. It's just the world we live in. Can't control that. What we can control is putting in extra effort, right? Putting in the extra effort that other people aren't. Working your connections, right? But one way that you can do that consistently is put out job applications on Saturday, put out job applications on Sunday, right? Those people who are just going to take the weekend off, go hang out with their friends, and they'll get back at it Monday morning, probably, they swear. They'll get out a couple, maybe 2 or 3 on Monday. No, you're going to beat those people to that job because you're going to get up on Saturday. I get up on Saturday and I do the job numbers. Those graphs and charts that I create, I gotta get the numbers on Saturday. I gotta get the numbers on Sunday. I don't stream on the weekends, but I'm up there doing that work, right? And you need to be doing that too, right? You want to get into the smallest pool of applicants. If less people are applying for those jobs, or they're waiting until Monday to apply for a job that was posted on Saturday, they're going to be at the bottom of the stack. You need to be at the top of the stack. Again, what can we control? So there we are. You're going to get up tomorrow. You're going to get up Sunday. You're going to get those job applications out. And then we're going to go back on Monday and we're going to pick up where we left off. All right. It's been a great week. Thank you so much. I appreciate your questions throughout the week. And we will see you on Monday. Have a great, productive weekend. Thanks, people.